Hi, YouTube. Tamara here, and welcome to PenPaperPad Talks Books. And today's guest is Laura A. Lord. Say hi, Laura.
Hi, guys.
So let me tell you a little bit about her. Laura is the author of numerous collections of vignettes and poetry and one awesome children's book about a T-Rex screwing up her entire day. It's totally based on a true story. She lives on the eastern shore of Maryland with her husband and 3 children. She graduated with an AA in liberal arts with an emphasis in lit, and then spent a number of years as a writing tutor at her local college. And her collections focus heavily on women's issues in today's society. She pulls inspiration from her rural upbringing and country lifestyle. So thank you so much, Laura, for joining us today to talk about your poetry and projects.
You're welcome.
So you have a new book on the horizon, I hear.
Yeah. My new book is called I Am, and it should be out hopefully in June. Got fingers crossed that everything comes together as it's supposed to. It focuses a lot on self-image. It's narrative poetry. And basically, I'm being distracted by a cat. It's basically going through the different parts of life and how what we see in ourselves and what we view of ourselves changes so drastically as our life changes. And so that it's not always even, who we thought we were going to end up being, and coming to terms with who we actually are.
Is it all autobiographical?
Yes. I hesitate when I say that. Yes, it started out that way. It's all very, very deeply personal for me. The pieces that I've shared with my beta readers, every single one has found something that is hit home for them. I think it's really going to relate to women and to mothers. A big part of the changes in my own personal life were becoming a mom, and so I think that definitely plays a part in it.
What pushed you into writing this one?
I went through a really bad spell after my son's birth, where I absolutely hated everything about myself. I had turned 30. I had all these ideas of where I would be when I was 30 and what I would have accomplished, and what I expected my pregnancy to go like and birth to go like, and all of the things and the expectations I had for myself didn't happen. And so I was kind of tossed into this whole other place that I hadn't expected to be, and left with a body and an image and a time in my life where I didn't know who I was. And I was having a hard time reconciling what I was seeing with who I thought I was supposed to be. So it took and I'm still working on it, a little bit of healing to kind of get to a place where I could accept what I was seeing.
I think those are definitely topics that women will be, and I'm sure some men too, will be able to identify with. Self-image is such a hard thing to deal with.
Yeah, women and men. I can't write from a man's standpoint, and I would have a hard time writing about body image for a man. But I think it's something that everybody goes through, and I think at different parts in our lives, it kind of hits us a little harder than others. And certain catalysts in your life certainly are going to force you to kind of look at yourself in a different way.
So, are you and it's called I Am.
Yeah.
In I Am, are you talking about your now, or do you go through kind of your lifetime of changes from maybe childhood or teen to now? Or
I definitely it's kind of split into 3 separate sections, one of them being focused on some of my past relationships and ways that I started to identify myself, mostly in my teenage and young 20s, when I was just sort of coming into my own and who I thought I was going to end up being in these relationships that kind of affected the woman that I ended up being for a long period of time. These were drastic things that happened that made me who I ended up being. And then, you know, the ideas of what, you know, what I saw for myself, the things that I saw in my future that hadn't happened yet, but that I was positive were going to be, those things that, you know, I just knew were going to happen in my life, and I could expect them and they were going to be there. And then, you know, the final part of the book is coming to terms with what's actually there.
30 is a rough year. Rough.
It really is. And, you know, some people, you know, kind of like tease me for it a little bit, and my husband included. You know, he was 3 years older than me, so to him it was no big deal. He's like, I didn't make a big deal when I turned 30, and I'm sitting there thinking, but, you know, at 30 I should have done this, and I should have done that, and I should be here, and I should have, you know, accomplished these things, and I should look this way, and I should be doing this, this, and this. And when I compiled all those things together and realized that they weren't there, or they weren't in the right place, or they hadn't happened yet, I felt like a complete failure. And I wasn't looking at all the things that I had done. Instead, because I had this path that I thought, okay, if I'm going to be a successful woman, I'm going to be a successful mom, I'm going to be a successful writer, you know, I will have done X, Y, Z. And I didn't stop and look that I did, you know, PQR instead. My poor letter choosing skills here. But you know what I mean? I didn't look at any of that. And all I could see was what I hadn't done. And so 30 hit me kind of hard. I was very pregnant, very emotional, and it was not a good time for me.
Well, it sounds like something positive came from it.
I think so. I think I kind of found a way to come to terms with where I actually am in my life, and to be happy with that, and to be thankful for the things that I have done. I'm still working on the self-image part of that, but I've done a few things recently that have helped with some of that. So I'm trying to get to the place where I can, you know, be happy with the whole package of who I am now.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about what you've been doing in order to kind of love yourself.
I had part of the fun stuff that I'm going to do in this book is include some photos. I had a fantastic photographer who is a boudoir photographer do a shoot with me, and so it's not all sexy, it's artsy and very dramatic, and it was very exciting and nerve-wracking. But we had a very long shoot last weekend, and it was unreal. I've never done anything like that before, so the idea of going to someone's home and, you know, not always wearing a whole lot of clothing, having them pose you in certain ways, and the makeover and the whole thing, it kind of forced you to open up and be a different kind of person for it. So I was really, really kind of down about the whole thing when I got home. It was a really fun experience, but I got home and I thought, oh my God, these pictures are going to be terrible, and there's not going to be anything I can use. And, you know, I just didn't feel good about it. And my husband and I talked about the shoot, and he got all excited about it, which kind of got me a little more excited. And then she sent me my sneak peek picture, and I thought, holy shit, like, look at this person. And it's kind of one of those moments where you get to see yourself as somebody else sees you. And so this woman, it's her job to find, beauty in people. And she's really good at it. And she, loves people and finds beauty in everybody. So the whole shoot, she's telling me all these wonderful things about myself, and I'm kind of laughing it off. But then when she shows me what she saw, I was like, holy shit, I look fantastic. My skin really is pretty, my hair looks great. I look fantastic. I was like, this looks like some artsy, magazine photo. I was blown away, and I haven't even seen the rest of them yet, but it was the most amazing experience. And I'm so glad I did it, even for that one picture right now. I'm hoping the rest came out as good, but I don't know. I think every woman should do it. I think it leaves you feeling absolutely in love with yourself. It's completely self-indulgent. Completely. It's all for you. And as much as I have pictures for my husband, it's all for you.
How did you get to that point? You decided that you were going to do this boudoir shoot where you're like at someone's home and scantily clad and being posed and legs here, hands here, butt here.
You know,
how'd you get there?
That's exactly what it was like. I have a friend that does some modeling, and then she works as the makeup artist for the photographer that I use. Her name was Jill Marie Willis. And she works as her photographer or her makeup specialist. And so she's constantly posting pictures and sharing these images from different boudoir photographers. And so it's all over the place. And I'm seeing these women, all different kinds of women. You know, women who look like they could be a freaking supermodel, and women who look like somebody I see in the grocery store with me every day. So, you know, it's everyone. And I'm watching these women go through this whole transformation. And you can see it in some of their photos where they start out so stiff, and then they really just kind of let loose and have fun with this. And I was like, that looks like such a good time. These women look like they're genuinely having a fantastic time with this. And so I kept hearing positive things, and I talked to the photographer a while. I told her about my book, and she read some of the poetry. And, you know, she and I thought that we could do this together and not do it as much as the boudoir. Like, it's not as sexy and sensual, but a little more focused on being comfortable in your own skin. And so she really thought that she could do that for me, and I hope she did. I think she did. And I think I relaxed enough to make it work. But ooh, your washing machine sound started up.
That was a motorcycle or something.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It was just like a random, but it was weird because it didn't go down the road. It's like maybe he's at my house. I don't know.
Maybe a little while you go see your motorcycle visitor.
No thanks. So, okay. So you took these photos, and when did you do the shoot? Like last weekend? Or
Last weekend. Before?
And you started off feeling very stiff, and eventually you felt really comfortable and you felt good about it. So what are your ultimate goals for incorporating it with I Am? How are they going to mesh?
We did a wide variety of pictures, and so we really tried to focus on the emotions that are in the book. You know, the ideas of being vulnerable and being unsure of yourself, and eventually coming to the places where, you know, you are confident in yourself and you're confident in your body. You know, I went to that stage in my 20s where I just thought I was, you know, hot shit. I was amazing. I was madly in love with my husband. He was madly in love with me. It was those beginning stages where you're just nuts about each other. Not that I'm not still nuts about him, but we've mellowed a little bit compared to where we were when we first met.
Yeah, it changes.
You know, those kind of stages put you in a different place when you see yourself. You know, when you are in that part of your life where you've just met someone, you have a brand new romance, things make you feel like you are, you know, better looking or more attractive or more whatever. And then as they start to settle, I'm like, oh, this man's seen me, you know, give birth now. I can't possibly be as sexy as that. But you know, there's a lot to tackle there, and I think she kind of tried to get that whole spectrum of feelings. I wish I could tell you more about it. I haven't seen them yet. I'm waiting very, very, very not patiently. I'm trying to be patient, but you know, it takes time, and she does a really good job. So
once you have the pictures back and your proofs back and everything, what are your next steps? What are you planning on doing?
Well, hopefully I'll be able to pick out the ones that I think really are going to work with the book, and then it'll be ready for my beta readers. which is always a super exciting step. I love sending it out. I have a number of people this time who are going to work with me, and I get really, really excited to have, my readers' input. A lot of people who have been following my blog for a while are reading for me, and it's always fun to have new readers. So I like that part of it.
That's really cool. So how is I Am different from, oh shoot, I blanked. Wake Up a Woman. Yes.
Oh, well, if I can be really harsh on myself, I think I'm a better writer now than I was then. I think we grow over time. I hope we grow over time. I think I've learned a lot more. And Wake Up a Woman, while it was really, really deeply personal, it was also very, very focused on a dark period of my life. And so there wasn't, an end revelation and things where I started to see myself in a better light. It stayed pretty dark throughout the entire course of the book. I feel like I wish I could go back now and rewrite a different ending and kind of show that there was some kind of light at the end of that. Because there certainly was. I mean, that wasn't the end of my story. It just seems very final and very dark when I look at it now.
It seems like your poetry collections are all little composite photos of different stages of your life, like of Roots and Wreckage. How does that fit in with the Laura landscape?
Roots and Wreckage was really different for me. Oh, I have things falling.
Oops.
Things on my computer desk are attacking me. Oh Lord. Okay. Wake Up a Woman and History of a Woman both were much more focused on myself and on women in general. I was really looking at, especially women in a more rural upbringing and how we grew up. But when it came to of Roots and Wreckage, I had just went through having my uncle live with me for 5 years. He was suffering from Alzheimer's. We had just moved him into a nursing home. And so I was spending a lot of time there and seeing a lot of people that I've grown up with. I've lived in this community my entire life. So seeing people that I went to school with who now work there, seeing people's parents and grandparents and uncles that were, there in the nursing home, seeing people from my community that I knew and watching this change in them, because you're seeing them in a whole different place. So seeing, my librarian from the school, and all of a sudden she's in a wheelchair in the nursing home. And there's this gap in between where I remember her from and where I was seeing her then. And so Roots and Wreckage, I wrote about my town. I wrote about the people in my town, and it wasn't much me as it was other people and what I was seeing around me.
So of Roots and Wreckage was more of kind of a departure for you, where you took the lens off of yourself and you put it on the people that you see.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was, at that point in my life, I had so much going on with caring for my uncle. I don't think I was spending a whole lot of time paying much attention to me at all. We had gotten right to the end of the time where he lived with us, where the disease was really getting bad. So it's not an easy disease to deal with.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Let's move on to brighter days. So one of the projects that we work on together is the Reverie Journal.
Yay! I know.
Which is a year old, Crazy.
I know.
How'd that happen?
It went really, and it went really fast.
It went
Like,
incredibly fast.
All of a sudden, we've been working on this for a year. But I think that happens when you're doing something you really like to do.
It really is fun, you guys. It's our poetry journal that's at the reveriejournal.com, where each week we put out writing prompts. We feature writers each Wednesday, and on Thursday we post places where you could get published. It's really just kind of a microcosm of a poetry community, and I love it. And Laura makes it look pretty. I have nothing to do with that.
That's my job. I make this stuff look pretty.
With book Genesis.
Yes. Genesis.
Not Genius. And if you guys haven't watched my author website reveal, then you should, and you'll know why. That's very embarrassing. But right now, it's very exciting because with the Reverie Journal, we are looking for poets.
Yes. Please send us your poetry.
Send us your work. Send us your tears or your heartbreak, your blood, and your love and your happiness and your epiphanies.
Love. I want to read some really good love poems. Send some good love poems.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice. I'm in the mood for really sappy love poems.
No one really submits love poems to us now that you mention it.
We don't get many. Every once in a while, but not many. It would be nice. I am not very good at love poems. It's not my strong suit. I can write some pretty decent smut. I haven't narrowed down the love poems yet.
Which, in regards to smut, I don't think that we really cater a lot to the smut.
No.
Just because anyone could be reading it, and we're not going to make it so that it's a over 18 site. So
yeah, no, save the smut for something else. But send us your poetry. Send us your wonderful, beautiful work.
Yeah. So our the open call has started, and we're in the reading period, and it will end June 30th.
Yes.
I'm like, are there 30 days in June? I think so. The last day of June, that's when we'll stop accepting poetry. So until then, send us the poetry to the Reverie Journal at gmail.com.
Yes.
And I'll have that information in the description if you are interested, which I hope you are. All right. Boom. But, let's talk a little bit about how the Reverie came to be. This was your brainchild.
Oh, yeah, but this was my brainchild, and I was like, I'm going to start a poetry magazine. This is going to be fantastic. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, I'm going to do this and this and this. And he's like, that's a lot of work for one person. So that is an obscene amount of work for one person. So then I contacted you and Hasty. I was like, help me do this thing. And both of you just kind of stepped right up. And then you were even more amazing because Hasty ended up having some serious work overload and kind of had to step out. And then it was just you and I. And we're like, we can balance it, no problem. And then I had a baby and lost my mind. And I was like, here you go. I'll make it pretty, but I won't be here for a while. And I did. I abandoned you, and you took it and, ran with it. I don't know how, because I kind of sat back in awe for a little while, that was amazing.
I'm glad you thought so, because I felt like I was failing left and right. But I'm doing really bad at this. I hope no one notices.
It was great. You did a great job. And, now I can, let you take over the main reins on that. And I'll make stuff pretty. But I don't know. I thought, we really needed somewhere in our community that really just focused on poetry. There's a lot of places, and there really are, that offer fantastic prompts all over the place. But, there wasn't some like one-stop place. They gave you the places that you could submit your work. They gave you a community to really discuss different aspects of poetry. They gave you the prompts. And so I felt like it was important to have that spot. And I think what we're doing is a good thing. I mean, it really is like your one-stop place. We hope that you'll submit with us. That would be fantastic. But we also know that there are so many other places out there that are accepting work. And sometimes finding out about them is really, really hard to do. And so we want to try to get that information out there for people so that they know, here's where you need to send your stuff, and keep submitting. I kind of have joked with people that I'm going to paper one of my walls with rejection letters. I totally could, but I send my work out constantly. And I think it's important for people to do that.
I agree, because, rejection isn't necessarily that your piece is bad. It can be that the editor is having a bad day, or the editor already has something that's like this in their pile, or this doesn't quite fit with what they're going for with that magazine or the theme. There's all kinds of outliers that affect whether or not your piece is accepted into a publication. So never ever take it personally. And, if the editor goes through the trouble of saying stuff to you like, I really would like to read something from you in the future, send them something in the future. They're not just saying that to everybody.
No.
That's a sincere thing. Send them stuff in the future. And if they say some stuff to you about, I'm echoing. If they say stuff to you about things that you can improve your piece, definitely look into it. See if what they're saying would work for you.
Yeah, I think that's important. Rejection is never fun, and it's never easy, and it's hard not to take it personally. And you have to remember, these people, 99.9% of the time, they don't have a clue who you are, and there's nothing personal behind it. It's not, I don't like this person. It's, there's a reason behind it, and there's a reason for that rejection that you can use to help try to grow from. And so maybe you learn, the readers probably aren't going to like this kind of work, but this magazine is maybe a little closer to where I can submit this kind of work. And so you learn how to do those sort of things, and to look at what they're looking for. So no is not a bad thing. No is, you have another chance to send this somewhere else.
Look at it as an opportunity.
Yes. You have to be positive.
Otherwise, you'll drive yourself nuts.
Exactly. We can't have that. Wine is for that.
Cheers.
I don't have any wine. I have coffee, and I'm out of that. Damn.
I'm about out of my wine too, so we're gonna have to round out this conversation by ending with talking about book Genesis.
Everyone's gonna go back and look at that old video.
I know.
Book Genesis is my baby. This is the other part of the whole being an author thing that I love. I absolutely love the entire creation process of a book. I love the editing, I love the writing, I love the formatting and the making it beautiful and pretty. And so I started Book Genesis as a way to help self-publishing and indie authors to provide affordable services for them. I had helped do your website, and I think it looks awesome. And I make graphics and images and ads and book covers, and I do editing. You know, a little bit of everything. I like making things pretty. I have fun with that. But part of the reason why I turn to self-publishing for my own books so often, I love the whole process. I like from beginning to end, and so I like being able to do that for other people.
You'll be doing that for me with the cover of my book. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
As soon as it's finished.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll be working with you. I just worked with author Sarah Bale on her book covers for her upcoming books. The Contender comes out on the 22nd of March. That's exciting.
Why is that name familiar?
I don't know. She's pretty popular. She writes some really great little romance stories. If you haven't checked them out, you should. They're really, really good. So I did the covers for her Wrestling Diary series, which is coming out. And I did the Reverie's book cover.
So here's the Reverie, you guys. If you haven't looked at the beauty that is the Reverie Journal.
I know.
Issue 1. And then here's the back. I love it. It's so graphic and beautiful. Lovely spine.
I just got these in that I made up for, I'm actually, for when the book comes out in September.
Ooh.
I will be at Chesapeake College doing a reading and signing, which is exciting. So designed some posters and bookmarks and all those fun things. It's a lot of fun. I have a good time with it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do it. I think because I'm at home and I think I have, the time to really commit to doing that. And this is my job now. So I get to do something I love. It's great.
That's magnificent. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited to work with you on all these other projects. We also have a poetry thing that's going to happen next month, you guys, but that is a secret project, and you'll have to just stay around to find out more. Laura, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been definitely a wonderful experience talking about self-esteem and self-image and poetry and how you can kind of transcend what you see of yourself through other people's eyes. That's fantastic. And I hope that you enjoyed yourself as well.
I had a great time. Thank you.
And I'm going to leave your links to your website, lauraalord.com, thereveriejournal.com, and book genesis.com. .org?
.wordpress.com.
.wordpress.com.
Yep.
All right. So I'll leave those links in the downstairs. And if any of you are interested in submitting poetry, receiving her services, or looking at her wonderful work, please do so. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.